What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Party on Broad. Today we're talking Eagles versus Cowboys and previewing Eagles versus Giants as we head to the NFL playoffs. Joining us, he is Rob Lange at Philly_Madness on X. What's up, Rob?
What's going on, guys? I am so much of a loser that I have spent basically all day going back and forth on what the title of our episode is, and I still don't know. I mean, I think I know where I stand, but it's like, it's such a hard dilemma. It is a really, really hard dilemma. Looking forward to talking about it here with you guys tonight as we get ready to the end of what turned out to be unbelievably fun regular season for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, Sunday was a lot of fun, especially Eagles pin pool. Rob was on the post game. Mm-hmm. These kind of Sundays are the best. But at the game was Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. What was that atmosphere like, man? That'd be the MVP chants, all that.
Yeah, it was nice, man. There was such a cool vibe in the stadium, and there weren't as many Cowboy fans as there normally are, which was disappointing. But there's a guy that I guess 4 seats away from me, the guy always sells his Cowboy tickets to the same guy. So I've known this guy for the last however many years. He comes to every Cowboy game, and man, that was a lot of fun. Singing the fight song in front of his face and looking at him and clapping at him. And there was another tall drink of water that was wearing a CD Lamb jersey, and he had one of those big little cowboy chains, and chanting CD. Oh, it was good. It was good fun. And then, I don't know. I had a blast. It was such a great time.
Yeah, we'll get into all of it, but this was one of those rare games where there was just as much entertainment on the field as there was off the field. Yeah. From the A.J. Brown and Tanner McKee ball.
Sorry about that.
From Mekhi Becton crying while walking off the field. Just his evolution under Jeff Stoutland this season is phenomenal. You could go on and on. I'm sure I'm missing some. It was great. It was just a very fun game. We have Pump Man saying free McKee quarterback 1. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. McKeesters stand up.
He is
he's on one for sure.
Somebody's still
listen, Tanner McKee was terrific. But anyway, guys, we are going to get into our top takeaways of this game. Let's get into it. All right, guys, if you're watching us live, please be sure to comment with us. Give us your thoughts on this game. We'll get into the Giants game momentarily. Tanner Manning in the fold says Pump Man. You know what? The player comp, and I read all the comments on this channel. We get a shit ton. And there was a lot of player comps of Tanner McKee to Nick Foles. Do you guys have any takes on that? Do you guys see that at all?
I guess from the tall standpoint, right? Taller quarterback in stature, not the most mobile guy. I think Tanner McKee is going to be a really good backup. I really do. I think that's going to be his career trajectory, and he's going to be a guy who will end up playing at times, due to injury and things of that nature. I don't know if I'd ever say an organization's going to say he's our starting quarterback for years to come. But he's calm in the pocket. He seemed very poised. When he threw that touchdown pass to A.J. Brown, I think, it was like he knew to go back shoulder. I mean, he just went back shoulder. I mean, it was a great throw. It was calm. If I remember, they blitzed on that play, or at least they showed blitz. Yeah, they were coming. And they every time they were blitzing, he got the ball out to where he wanted to go. He was calm, and he did what he needed to do. I think Nick Foles, that would be probably a good comparison. I think.
No blitz on this one.
No.
I don't even see. Yeah, that's Parsons on the far end against Mailata, just getting pushed over. Great ball placement on that ball.
Yeah.
To AJ Brown. And here's this one. This was another great throw. This was under pressure.
There were 2 catches in the NFL yesterday that didn't count that were absolutely ridiculous. This one, and then Justin Jefferson had one that got called back.
Yeah.
That's an insane throw and catch.
Yeah, we all were just like, how?
That's insane. When this play happened, Ryan, like I jumped off of my couch. I was screaming, the best play of the year. Then I went through all the plays that we've seen from like Devontae and things like that. I'm like, that's probably not even the best catch of the year.
It's got to be up there. But
I would take Devontae's catch in the back of the end zone.
That catch in the back of the end zone against Jacksonville was absurd. I saw that replay just earlier this week. I forgot about it, but my God,
this is insane, man. AJ is just insane.
But the guy was draped all over him, and he still has the wherewithal to throw his hand up and bring it out.
Yeah, to go into our Tanner McKee point, right? Pressure in his face. He threw the ball in the only spot that only his guy would get it, or it was going to be incomplete. There was no danger of that pass, and that's impressive. That's impressive.
And then here's the hold on. There it is. Here's AJ Brown giving Tanner McKee the ball that he threw.
That was a great scenario. And having him be the negotiator in the middle was fantastic.
So this all happened about 3 feet away from me. So when AJ threw the ball up, he threw it. So I think I'm in row 21. He threw it up like 5 rows behind me and over maybe like 5 people. So like it was right there. And as soon as we all kind of realized what was happening, the chance, throw it back, like rookie of the year. And so we're all chanting, and he's like, do I throw it back? The guy was just like, he didn't know what to do. We're all, you have a stadium full of people chanting that at you. Eventually he smartens up and he starts to kind of, you can see the security people kind of converge on him, and as he gets himself to the aisle and he walks himself down to the kind of the front of my section, and you see Big Dom lumbering over and pointing up there, and then you see the kind of the conversation that this dude and AJ Brown had, which obviously they weren't able to really kind of talk to each other, but AJ Brown was like, he's like, oh, I got you. He's like, I got you, and he's like, you gonna hook it up, like you. And AJ was like, I got you. So we already know he was taking off the jersey for him. The simple fact of the matter is, dude caught a pass, which could have been anybody, and ends up getting a game worn, not only a game worn, signed jersey, but it's a Kelly Green jersey.
Game worn, yep.
Game worn, Division I against the Cowboys, signed in a green Sharpie.
Yep.
Like, how effing cool is that? So, like, the dude hit the absolute jackpot. It was awesome. The fact that it was literally just happening like right next to me, and just thought we were all behind him, just throwing the ball back. So,
all right. So that was an amazing play off the field. I mean, this is a good segue. Let's might as well just run through them. This was Mekhi Becton. All the shit that this guy went through with the New York Jets, and him just walking off the field, looking like he went through a war. I mean, he's battered. He left an injury, but look at his face, Ryan.
Yeah, it's relief. It's relief.
He's like, "Thank you, God."
Right? Yeah. It's realizing, fuck. Like, I found my place. Like this place is awesome. I was able to, completely change my career. I switched positions. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, but I had a coach, I had a team, I had a city that got behind me and invested in me, and I invested back into this city, into this team, and this is the results.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be happy for the guy, honestly. And the second that we signed him, I was like, damn. I was like, we got a dude. Little did I know that he would, at the time become our starting right guard. But
I just hope they can re-sign him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the key.
I think you look at the case of Becton and Bond.
Yeah.
Not only are they being the most two important people that we need to sign, I think for themselves individually, it is of the utmost importance that they resign here because of what has happened and what has been done to their careers by coming to Philadelphia.
This is one of those rare years that when the offseason comes, whenever it does come, and we start breaking down free agency and all this stuff and what the Eagles to do, my top two moves are re-signing Mekhi Becton and Zach Vaughn. Like it's staying in-house. I don't need you to go spend money outside of the house this year. I think that this team is good enough the way it's constructed now that if you can keep it together and you add a couple fringe pieces, that's fine. You don't need to go make that big free agency splash. The free agency splash should be keeping the team intact.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the year, but there was another year where that was what I wanted to see them do, and they did it. And I think that that's the important thing. Can you keep? I know you can't keep everybody, but can you prioritize Vaughn and Becton?
People? Yeah.
And
we're going to prove to the world that this team is good enough.
Yeah.
So when we do the thing that we're setting ourselves out to do, we are going to resign everybody that's important and fill in the gaps and run it back.
Yeah.
The dude is 25 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a monster of a human being.
I mean,
and switched positions, had never played it, and got in there and under Stoutland, he guided him, he figured it out. And I think he's been playing amazing.
And how old is Vaughn? What's Vaughn?
Do not play
like 27, something like that.
Yeah, so they're both on the right side of 30. Like if you sign
28.
28. So you sign Vaughn to a 3-year deal, you sign Becton to a 4 or 5 year deal. And look, you may have to spend more money than what you're accustomed to giving to certain positions, but why would you
got money
right now?
We got some money.
And then go draft your offensive tackle of the future to come in for Lane Johnson and draft a third wide receiver or sign. Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah. I'm just talking about thinking of those future positions. But like,
you might need 2 tight ends.
Maybe you sign a free agent third receiver, but it's a guy that can play the position and catch the ball. Tight end, edge, and left tackle or right tackle are your draft needs.
No, right tackle ain't happening just yet.
No, I think it does this year.
I mean, Mekhi Becton's amazing. I mean, Milt Williams has been amazing this year. But I would be ruined if Zach Vaughn signs elsewhere this offseason.
Yeah,
ruined.
And then I'm gonna hope for Zach Vaughn goes back to special teams. Zach Vaughn.
Oh Jesus! All right, but I'm going to take this one. Nice little segue here. My top takeaway was the Eagles' offensive line, which was outstanding. Here's some clips of the Eagles' dominance.
Jesus.
Jordan Mailata allowed just 1 pressure and 0 sacks.
Wow.
Becton, Dickerson, Johnson, Juergens, 0 pressures and 0 sacks allowed. Cam Juergens had the best run blocking grade since week 14.
When Juergens pulls on these plays, he's incredible.
Do you realize how absolutely just lucky we are?
He hasn't been talked about enough this season.
Well, you're absolutely right. The drop off between Kelsey and Juergens has been minimal at best.
And you're replacing maybe the best center in the history of the game, a first ballot Hall of Famer, and the offensive line doesn't miss a beat. He was the signal caller. He was the leader, and they didn't miss a beat. And that goes to Stoutland, obviously, but it also goes to those 5 guys playing as one on that offensive line. There's been a few snaps we haven't liked this year. Okay, maybe there's the one negative, but man, he's another road grader. And Kelsey said it the night he was drafted that this guy is a stud, and he was dead right. Kelsey's going to be a coach.
Listen,
Kelsey replaces Stoutland.
I think
it's Stoutland that keeps Becton here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and I personally, I think the second that Stoutland even thinks about retiring,
Kelsey's back.
He should get an immediate induction into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
He's the best. He's arguably top 5 coach in Philadelphia. No one can convince me otherwise. But this is a pass rush for the Cowboys that had 22 sacks over the last 5 games. Parsons had the worst pass rush grade of the season at 64 per pick.
I'm looking right at you, Micah. What you gonna do about it?
If you want to come to Philly next year.
By the way, all right, you talk amongst yourselves while I bring up this video.
Okay. Yeah. So listen, like how I normally like to call out our own backup running backs, I'll switch it over and I'll call you out, Micah. All you do is talk about us, like you're obsessed with us. We're like that ex-girlfriend that you just so mad got away, and you didn't do enough to keep her while you were there.
All right, so here's Parsons after the game.
Yeah, this is
you look at their play. They had 2 big runs and 3 good deep shots. Other than that, we made them earn it, and you take away take away the scoreboard. It was about 5 plays that decided this game. And you hate to say that because it's a lot of football, but the 2 deep shots to Devontae Smith and the one to AJ Brown, and also Devontae on that slant. For the most part, we're making them earn it. 3 yards, 2 yards, 4th and 1s, which is good football when you're playing a team like the Eagles. But the other side is that when you play in those big teams, we understand big plays is going to happen. And you understand, all right, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, some of the best guys.
God, that guy's an idiot.
So right, wow. What a moron! I've never heard of such a dumb thing. Oh yeah. You take away the scoreboard, and there was only a couple of plays, and that's the reason why we lost. No, you lost because you suck. You lost because your GM/owner/ freaking too old to fucking know what's going on. Owner didn't do shit and thought he was fine.
How about the follow-up question to that? If I was a reporter, is. Micah, you went against the 2nd and 3rd string quarterbacks, and they put 41 on you. I understand you're saying it's only a few plays. It was the 2nd and 3rd string quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It was Kenny Pickett and Tanner McKee.
Right.
Who lit your asses up for 41 points.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That's embarrassing. You all should quit as a team, as a defense. I don't know what else to say. And your offense, my God, Cooper Rush looked like dog shit. The fact of the matter is we had another 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
So I don't know what. I
was a little nervous after the first 2 drives because that was like the
his touchdown pass was like a perfectly thrown ball. Like Q was in perfect coverage. It was a great thrown ball. Yeah. At that point I'm like, Jesus Christ, the defense gives up 30-some last week. Now look at that, the first 2 drives.
Sure, everybody was a little nervous.
Yeah, but then they just shut it down, man, and they went back to, they were getting enough pressure. Even if they weren't getting sacks, they were getting the pressure. They were in his face, which is what forced a bunch of those bad throws was pressure in his face. So,
and I think everybody coming off of the Washington loss, I think again. Was a little nervous, just kind of how we all were after we beat Carolina, and that was a terrible game, and we were all a little worried about did somebody figure something out? The same thing. Did Washington figure us out? Well, listen, if it wasn't for the fact that Jalen got knocked out of the game early, the fact that you throw in a dude who had no idea he was actually going to play, and you had to still score. It was 6 seconds left. I don't think anything changed. I think they were the same damn team. They just finally had all their guys. CJ Gardner-Johnson was in the whole game. What happened? He scored more. He scored the same amount of points as the Cowboys did.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear it. And listen, for Brian Pumpers of the world and Tanner McKees, you settle that down. All right. My God. I mean, Tanner McKee went in against a defeated. Again, speaking of ex-girlfriends, the Cowboys at that point were like the ex-girlfriend that you manipulated and you just absolutely what's all that? What are those new terms that all the people like to use?
I don't know, Ryan. I just want to ask, who hurt you? Because you compared two things now to an ex-girlfriend. Who scorns your ass?
No, nobody scored my ass. Nobody scored me.
Jesus.
I do the scorning.
I do the scorning.
Yeah, but anyway, that's exactly what
I don't even know.
They were beaten down, and Tanner McKee went in there and a disheveled, hiding, fetal position Cowboy defense, and still threw 2 touchdowns on you. But so let's not call him Joe Flacco or even Nick Foles for crying out loud. But it does show you how piss terrible the Cowboys defense is.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Deron Bland looked terrible.
Meat.
Terrible yesterday. Rob, did we get your takeaway?
My takeaway is very simple. I've held receipts. I made a terrible prediction in the beginning of the year, and I had to own up to it. Okay, there's no doubt about that. I made a terrible prediction, and I owned up to it. But now it's time for everybody else. All right, the last Eagles-Giants party on Broad, Dibes reminded us that the episode was entitled "The Eagles Have a Nick Sirianni Problem," and I came on here and I told everybody to calm down, that this guy has just been winning. And they proceeded to ramble off about 10 wins in 11 games at that point. Now, this isn't just for Dibes. It's just because he's here right now. Right. But this is for every single one of you who called for this man's head after the Jacksonville Jaguars game. This is for the Marcus Hayeses of the world who write that yesterday's game was a must-win game or Sirianni could be fired. This is for all of you dopes who wanted to fire a guy who is setting records for wins in his first 4 seasons as a coach. He's the only Eagles coach who made the playoffs in his first 4 seasons. Okay? I want apologies to Nick because he may be a doofus. He may be a dork. He may say things in a press conference that you don't like, and that's fine. But he friggin' wins, damn it. And every single time it looked like things were going to fall apart. Every single time it looked like things were going to fall apart this year. He buckled down. He looked himself in the mirror, and he got the thing back on track. And I understand that your people could say, well, he doesn't call the play. No, but all year we talked about he needed to be a better CEO coach. There was no better CEO coach in the league than one Nicholas Sirianni. And damn it, it's time, as Brian Dawkins once said, put some respect on him. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you.
Listen, I am so glad that this was one of the first things that I think we ever agreed upon.
Yes.
And you know what, Dibes, listen, I think we should give you the floor.
Give some music.
Get some.
I always like Nick Sirianni.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. We literally have the tapes. Literally have the tapes.
Receipts. I want to see the receipts.
Big fan.
Yeah, sure you are now.
I think what I have to do is cut out a picture of Nick Sirianni's head and put it on Devin White on my T-shirt so I can wear my T-shirt.
There you go.
I
repurpose that shirt.
I wanted Nick Sirianni fired last offseason.
Yeah, you did.
I stand by my.
I did not.
Yeah. I thought. Yeah, I thought he lost ridiculous. It. I thought there was just no sense of bringing him back after the disaster of everything we saw just from on and off the field. But you can't deny it any further. I mean, he has brought this team together. Again, youngest defense in football. The players we're seeing improve across the board.
Yep.
Yeah. It's really incredible how this team has banded together through a lot of shit, and no one can take that away from Nick Sirianni.
And it's a collaborative effort, right? Like, obviously, there were a lot of different moving parts that had to come together to make this work 100%. But the frustrating thing is, and this is where I always stand, especially in this town, we are so quick in this town to pull the plug on a coach in any of the 4 major sports teams.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. And I've been a victim of it. I've done it. I've said it about guys. Don't misunderstand me. But, I mean, we did the same thing to Charlie Manuel, right? People wanted to run him out of town after the first couple years. You know, Brett Brown was literally given Horace Thompson or Hollis Thompson. And I don't even know. And people wanted him out of town after 2 years. Like, honestly, like, we've got to stop trying. And you know what's going to happen? If, God forbid, the Eagles lose the first game in the playoffs, everybody's going to jump back on that train.
Back on it. Right. Yeah,
everybody's
but you know
what?
Jump
back on that train, and it's
I think it's the way they lose that matters. The way they lose matters way more.
Yeah, I just look.
I don't know.
If you actually, my big Sunday takeaway at the end of all the games yesterday is the NFC is really competitive.
But Rob, nobody was killing Nick Sirianni. I mean, so this is coming from a guy that listens to zero sports radio. I don't listen to the garbage of WIP or 97.5. I will say nobody was killing Nick Sirianni for the loss against the Commanders. That was all player and execution, correct?
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't think anybody was blaming anybody. I think
we call it as it is. Like,
the point is, people wanting to fire this guy in the middle of the year because he made 3 bad decisions in a game that his team still won.
Yeah,
you can say there were a lot of mistakes, correct?
Sure.
There were a lot of mistakes, but does that mean a guy should be fired mid-season when at that point you were a 500 football team? You weren't out of anything? Like, it's just it, and I get it. It's a knee-jerk reaction, but it's like, damn it. If in this town, it's the first knee-jerk reaction every time is, it's got to be the coach. These are grown friggin' men, fellas. They're grown men.
Listen, the first 4 games, it was the entire season rolling into the first 4 games.
It was. You're right. And listen, it was the simple fact that it probably took a few games for everybody to get on the same page. Probably took a few games for that defense, specifically that defense, to really figure out Fangio's style. Because it wasn't until after that bye that you saw a different defense, for sure. And it took the offense a little bit to kind of get used to all the weapons, and with Saquon Barkley. But I will say you're absolutely right. The first 4 games, all right, I get it. But this is the same town that 2 weeks ago you had people that were calling for Kenny Pickett to play.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So again, the sanity of this town, it's not all there.
Well, no, and listen, and it goes even further. Go back 15 weeks ago. Go back to week 2. Go back to the loss of the Atlanta Falcons. Okay. Everyone put that entire game on Nick Sirianni because of a play call in which the play worked.
It worked.
And he dropped the ball. Not to mention, if you watch the NFL, watch it. And I would love someone, if they could track this. It's very difficult to do. On 4th and 1s, how many teams run that same exact goddamn play? Because Washington did it last night and hit on it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the new aged NFL. People go for it when you don't think they should. People pass the ball when you think they should run it. This is what the game is. And everybody jokes about him talking about watching college games and trying to nitpick stuff like that. Heard an interview with a guy today. Some of you may have heard of him. His name's Bill Belichick. Pretty good coach. They did that every Saturday when he coached. They did a Saturday meeting where they watched high school, college, other pro games and said, hey, if we're in that situation, how should we handle it? You know what? We don't have that play. Let's try and put something in. So I don't want to hear this. And I'm not saying he's Bill Belichick, but my point is we look for reasons to complain about coaches here.
Yeah.
Just like we look for reasons to complain about quarterbacks and everything else. When it's warranted, damn it, it's warranted. When you wanted to complain about his decision-making in Jacksonville, complain away because it was terrible.
Right.
But to say he should be fired at that point was ludicrous. It was ludicrous.
This is after the Browns game. Talking top takeaways, Eagles versus Browns. Nick Sirianni was seen talking shit to the Eagles crowd after the game, and it's time to call a spade a spade. Nick Sirianni quite simply needs to go. Winning by 4 points at home after a bye week against arguably the worst team in the NFL after being favored by nearly 10 points might be the biggest bitch move in Eagles recent history. Last year, the excuse was that the Eagles were getting everyone's best shot every week. What's the excuse now? This is a team that plays with zero heart. It's a team that consistently comes out unprepared with consistently the worst game plan out the gate imaginable. Literally 5 straight games with 0 points in the first quarter. Jeffrey Lurie said the Eagles are the gold standard in the league. But jawing at fans after barely beating the worst team in the league is a fireable offense. All right.
Wait, okay. So,
I would have jawed their asses too.
Hold on. we now have
I give you credit, Dives, that you played it. That Dives played it. I give him
credit. Dives, go ahead. We're waiting for those words. Floor is yours.
Nick Sirianni, I'm sorry.
Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel better to get that off?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't feel good because I've been wrong as I was wrong about Devin White, and that shit sucks.
Ooh, listen, Rob, that was like first ballot Hall of Fame of being dead ass wrong. Yours. So I got it.
I don't know what's worse, my Jalen Reagor takes or the Devin White takes.
The Jalen Reagor.
Devin White didn't even make the goddamn field.
It was,
and you didn't make a T-shirt.
Meanwhile, Jalen Reagor made the football field. Devin White was a bust from the jump.
Justin Jefferson. You wanted Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson.
Well, that's pretty bad too. Yeah, that's definitely on the Mount Rushmore of
I think the point is
freezing cold takes.
I think the point is we're both idiots.
Yeah, the point is this show's drunk right now.
Yeah, listen. Thank God nobody has a direct example of the time when I did something like that. But otherwise, I would be right up there with them. So
it's there. We just have
it's there. Exactly. It's 100% there. I'm thinking of about 3 or 4 of them, but I ain't saying shit.
All right. Any other takes of the Dallas Cowboys?
Dallas fans are a bunch of bitches.
Well, they crawl back into their hole. They're cockroaches. They go away.
Yeah, exactly. They're a bunch of bitches. Although, like I said, the guy that sits a few seats away from me that has been coming to every Cowboy game, he takes it in stride. I'll give him credit. When you're a Cowboy fan that dishes it out and takes it, I'll at least have respect for you.
No.
But it was pretty funny seeing some of these people leaving early and crying, and good old Jerry.
I hate them all.
All right. Let's get into Eagles versus Giants.
There's only one question that we're asking. This
and we'll talk about it. Way early, but to talk Eagles versus Giants, especially with what's on the table. There's a lot of talk about the starters resting for Week 18 with Eric Dickerson's amazing, special, historic stat on the line. I'll throw it to you, Ryan. Should Saquon Barkley play Week 18 against the Giants?
Listen, I can see.
We're all going to start our answer the exact same way.
Yeah. And I can't wait till we come back and we do our own thing for this specific question.
Yes.
This question honestly could get answered either way.
Mm-hmm.
And I could make an argument for either one that, quite honestly, I'd probably be able to convince you of either one. But that's not really the point here. And, I guess the whole thing is whether or not you're scared. Are you scared? Are you scared that, somebody might get hurt? Are you scared?
A.J. Brown got hurt in 2023, the last game of the regular season.
You're right. Listen, I
didn't play for the Tampa Bay Bucks. It got smoked.
I got it. Are you scared of claiming history? Because that's what it comes down to. Do you want the Eagles to be a part of history? Do you want Saquon Barkley to not only claim one of the hardest records in all of sports, but to do it in such a comical way in the first season against the team that drafted you, that disrespected the hell out of you, that your dopey GM let you walk, and that your owner can't sleep at night because of it, and to throw that little extra on top of it. Personally, I say go for it.
The Giants
go for it.
The Giants were and are a laughingstock of an organization. This isn't a revenge game.
Nope.
You got to take the emotions out of this. I am a Sixers fan at heart. Basketball was my first love. I just went through Doc Rivers chasing regular season awards for years with Joel Embiid, winning the MVP and doing and the Sixers still not getting out of the first round. I don't care. Saquon should not step
I don't think he
foot on that field. I think it is preposterous to even think he should play in a it's actually more beneficial for the Eagles to lose this game than it is for the Giants to win.
Yeah, I didn't say they had to win.
I don't want it. I want nothing to do it. Like, again, we all saw how important A.J. Brown was to this offense when he wasn't on the field, whether it was the Bucks game last year's playoffs or this year. Now it's Saquon.
So are you saying
where was the last game? Where was the last game of the season last year?
Was it Met? I don't know.
It was at MetLife Stadium. What is MetLife Stadium known as? The worst field to play on in the league.
Also true. But listen, can I just say, are you saying that you don't have faith in one Mr. Kenneth Gainwell?
Who are you talking to?
Either of you.
I'm saying they should be fine because the Giants are not in tank mode whatsoever, and we'll get to that in a little bit. This team is has players playing for their lives. It has a head coach playing for his career. I think this is I'm afraid when you see I am afraid when you see a guy like Brian Burns playing 60 snaps, Kayvon Thibodeau playing the whole game. This is a team that's not like other tanking teams. Like they are. And you've seen the way the refs are, like you saw that hit against Devontae where he's like crossing the field and gets checked and there's no penalty. I want nothing to do with any of my guys on that football field. Rob.
Yeah. Many a rapper has said over time, scared money don't make no money. Scared money don't make no money. There's also a saying in sports that when you start playing scared, that's when the bad things happen. Okay? That's when the bad things happen. Now, Here's where I stand. I don't want Jalen Hurts sitting 2 straight weeks before the playoffs. So that means I want Jalen on the field for a half. But if Jalen's on the field for a half, then that means I want my offensive line on the field for a half. If my offensive line's on the field for a half, then you bet your ass my running back's going to be on the field for that half. Here's the thing. The Giants' run defense is abysmal. The players on the Giants, right? I know what you're saying, but there's one thing the players in the front office disagree on about Saquon Barkley. The players like him.
Yeah.
The players are not going to be out there giving their all to hurt Saquon Barkley. I'm sorry. I'm putting that out there now too. And let me put it to you this way, and I knock on wood when I say it. Saquon could get hurt walking out to the field in practice. Saquon could twist an ankle walking across the street. Saquon, if this game was for the number 1 seed and you got to play it, and Saquon gets hurt and they still don't get the number 1 seed, he still had to play. Now, I understand the fears, and I understand both sides of this argument. But you're talking about a guy who has done everything for this team in this city and done it in a classy way since he got here, having the chance to break a 40-year-old record. You're not going to give this guy that chance? And I know what Lane said in the locker room, but my guess is that offensive line's going to Nick and saying, let's see if we can get it done early. And Nick's going to go with what his players tell him. Now, if Nick decides nobody plays, I'm not going to be mad at him for it. But if it was me, and I can't believe this, I'm going to agree with Ryan. And I'm going to say, let's go for it. I'm all in. I'm all in on it. I'm all in.
You guys are absolutely crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, like you could look at the stats. The Eagles are widely better than everyone. And this is not more so Saquon, but the one thing that the Giants do have, and it's important, is they get sacks. They get home. And they have one of the highest sack percentages. They have one of the highest sack totals in the NFL and one of the highest blitzing teams in the NFL. Mm-hmm. They're going to go out, and they're going to go out the way they want to go out. So that scares me a little bit.
That sounds more like you don't want them to play Jalen Hurts, not Saquon.
I think it's everything. It's like I don't. It's not just Saquon.
You would rather Jalen Hurts not take a snap in a game for 3 weeks before the playoffs, because
absolutely
that to me sounds terrible.
Yeah, that does sound terrible.
I don't want anything to do with
it. That scares me more than playing Saquon.
Yeah. I just think they need to play a half, not to win, right? Not to score 50 points. And look, if he only gets 30 yards, well, it's not in the cards,
right?
Okay, and you pull him. If he has 97 yards at the end of the half, damn right you're letting him play one.
Yeah, you give him one more carry to get that.
Yeah. Noom says Saquon has 12 fewer fumbles and 40 more all-purpose yards than Dickerson. Is there anything else to prove?
Yeah.
Again, I think it's record. I don't get it. I don't get it. If Saquon comes out and says this is important to me,
he's not that guy though. He's never
never be that guy. He's already said
my vibe is he doesn't care. And
no, see, my vibe is he's going to let us think he doesn't care. But there's no way a competitor is 100 yards away from a 40-year-old record and doesn't say, I want that. There's just no way. I just can't imagine that.
Man, that's terrifying.
And I'll say this, all right, a little bit different situation, but I'll say this. The New England Patriots went for 17-0, even though they had everything wrapped up with about 3 games ago. Yep. They played everybody, every snap. And if somebody would have got hurt, and I know they ended up not winning the Super Bowl, but if somebody would have got hurt, I'm sure there would have been questions.
Sure.
But they
How
did
long
it
ago
because
was that?
It was like 6 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. What was it, 2015?
wasn't 6 years ago, but yeah, it was like 10 years ago. But all right.
I mean, but it wasn't like it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, freaking times, Jesus, like, it happened in our lifetime.
It's almost 20 years ago. What are we doing here? different league, different football.
They're still hitting people. They're still tackling people. It's not different. Do you not remember? It was actually more dangerous back then. You could still horse collars people and all kinds of shit.
It was 2007. 2007.
So,
damn,
not 20 years ago there, dramatics. All right.
That's 6 years ago.
Yeah, well, that was funny.
That was a difference.
That was funny.
Let's get to
okay. Honestly, it would be great to have an Eagle have this record. It would be great to have Saquon his first year, as an Eagle do it and against the Giants. Absolutely, yes. Do I understand both sides of it? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Will I be mad if they say, you know what, we're going to rest everybody? No. I'll probably be more mad about the Jalen thing than the Saquon.
Yeah.
I'd be more impressed for Nick Sirianni to be like, we don't care. And that would be a hell of a ball.
Oh yeah? Will you actually be on Nick Sirianni's side this time?
Jesus.
And then they lose in the first round and you should have played
right back. Get him out of here, Mr. Laurie.
All right, let's get to score prediction. Really hard to get into like matchups, especially when we don't know who's playing. So we're just going to skip to score predictions. Noom says, let Saquon get the record after the ring. I'm just blown away that we're going to have a linebacker and a running back make all pro in the same fucking year. That is nuts to me. Wow. I still can't comprehend that thought process. Ryan, way too early score prediction.
Oh yeah. What the hell are we even doing? I mean, we don't even know what time this game is happening.
What? It's 1 o'clock.
Did they officially announce it? I probably was sleeping. Listen. I don't know. I'm gonna. No, you know what? I can't do it. I'll never do it. I don't care if the odds are forever against us. I'm never gonna pick against the Eagles. Birds, 42, Giants, nothing.
Jesus Christ.
42-0. Eagles are favored by 3 points right now. Over-unders at 38.5. Rob, what's your gut feeling?
Over 38.5?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 24-17 is the final. Eagles win. I don't think Kenny Pickett plays at all. I think it's
did he break his friggin' ribs?
I think it's Tanner McKee. And I think he balls out. I think Jahan Dotson scores a touchdown this week. I think that's going to be a point of emphasis. And I think Kenny Gainwell. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough guy. It's like if they don't play anybody, it's tough. If they do, man, am I going to be locked in for a half? I am going to be locked in for a half.
I'm debating on whether I should go. I want to be there.
I thought about purchasing a ticket.
I want to be there if they break the record, but I also don't want to go because the game's probably not going to mean. Well, it doesn't mean anything. So use that money for playoffs. But I'm torn. And plus, I could just use the break. Tailgating takes it out of you. Really does.
Absolutely. I haven't heard any news on Will Shipley regarding his concussion, so I don't know. Anywho, give me Birds 20, Giants 7. I just don't think. I think
Oh, kidding me? That Drew Lock and Malik Neighbors, they put up 45 yesterday.
Yeah, that helped me win another fantasy championship. So,
Jesus. Yeah, maybe I want to flip that. Let's go. Giants get the W. 34-23. 34-23. Giants get the W because nobody on the Eagles plays. All right, there it is. Ryan, let's wrap it up. Final thoughts, plugs.
Listen, it was an interesting game for about 3 seconds. And then the Eagles were like, wait a minute. These cockroaches need to be put to sleep permanently. And that's what we did. And Micah, listen, anytime you want to reach out, right here, set up a time and a place, brother. I don't mind.
If you want to play for the Eagles, I'm okay with that too.
I'm also very okay with that at some point in the future.
I'm not turning that away.
Yeah. But yeah, make sure that you're locked in to Party on Broad. You know, me and Rob,
we've been promising you guys for a while now.
We're teasing you. But we're gonna get there one of these days.
What we didn't tell you is we're teasing ourselves. Because we tell each other every week and then about 12 hours later go, oh shit.
Yeah. Or something with the kids, or I fall asleep, or something. I don't know. There's always something that's going on. But anyway, make sure you follow me right here. Beep. And make sure you follow these other guys. Make sure you follow Party on Broad. I fell asleep through Birds of the Round Table, which is on Eagles Pinball Network. So make sure that you log in and follow us on Eagles Pinball Network. I promise next episode I will be wide awake, and I might actually even say stuff, maybe. Other than that, I hope you all had a merry friggin' Christmas. I hope you all got amazing Eagles gifts, jerseys, and other like. I know I gave my kid about 72 different Eagles things, and he absolutely loved it. And then a Happy New Year. Stay safe. Make sure wherever you're going to be, that's where you're staying. Don't be driving because people are crazy. So stay safe, get drunk, and go Birds.
There it is. Rob, final thoughts, plugs.
You can find me, Philly_Madness. Find me here on Mondays for Party on Broad. Find me on post games. Find me at some point when Ryan and I stop. This is going to come out. This is just coming out wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. When Ryan and I stop teasing each other. You'll see some good content coming.
That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Always,
brother. Always be protected, especially for those of you that are going out to a singles bar on New Year's. Be careful.
Oh yeah, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm telling other people to. I have 3 children. I don't get to do that anymore.
Oh yeah, I'm free for that.
I'll be in bed by 11 o'clock.
I need to find that. I need to find that singles bar then.
Yeah.
Is there a more overrated holiday than New Year's?
No. And I used to be a big New Year's guy.
Yeah, obviously when you're young, sure.
Yeah, and I still have a family tradition. Like tomorrow, I pick up my kids and me and my parents and my dad's godfather and his family. We go walk the Italian market in the morning. We've been doing it since the year I was born. So this marks 40 years of doing this. And we start with a cheesesteak and then just head down the Italian market. Yeah, that damn straight. So I do enjoy that part of it. But yeah, the rest of it. Last year, I didn't even have the kids. And I was at my neighbor's, and it was like we went to the Eagles game, and they lost to the Cardinals that day.
Oh yeah, that was
and it was like 11:15, and I looked at my neighbors too, and I lived right across the street, and I said, "Guys, I'm going to go home." They're like, "Why?" I was like, "I just want to sit on my couch and watch a movie," and that's how I brought in the New Year. And guess what? I'm probably going to do the same thing this year. So happy New Year to the rest of you, and we'll be back to talk more Birds, playoff style next week.
Just to interject before Dives, you can shoot me a message right here for all of the single bar locations for New Year's Eve. Thank you.
We have a comment. Thanksgiving Eve is what rules. That was fun when I was in my 20s.
See, now I violently disagree with this. Why do I want to see a bunch of jabronis that I went to high school with? You think I want to talk to those jamooks? Get out of here.
I got to tell you, I agreed with you on that part. But, man, did I go out and take full everything that night. That night,
everybody
was a disaster.
Oh, yeah. Again,
everyone was hungover
I was young.
Thanksgiving Day. Yep.
We would go play foot. This is how it was great to be young. We would play. We do that night, and then go the next morning. We'd all wake up and go play a game of football.
Yep.
Guys were throwing up on the sideline and coming back in.
Yep.
If I threw up on a sideline, I'm out for 3 to 4 days. If I throw up one time, I'm out. It doesn't matter.
All right, guys, we're wrapping it up. Here's Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. That is Rob Lange at Philly_Madness. I'm Dibes, Mr. Crockpot. Thank you, everyone, for watching. That's a PlayStation. Go play your PS4, PS5.
I gotta lead Temple to back-to-back championships.
There it is. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Catch you on the next one. Stay awesome.